Hey everybody, this is Ian Batra with the Batra team, coming to you live from Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. Today is a very special edition of Friday Facts. I have a special guest. So the normal facts and everything we do, it's going to be in the blog post. Let us know. We're always happy to keep you up to date. But we're going to go to a little higher level here. I have Grant Gurewitz, who's the marketing manager for Zillow. We've been here at this conference, amazing conference. We've been learning a lot for the last couple days. So thank you guys so much at Zillow. So I would, without further ado, I want to just get into chatting with Grant, learn a little more insight into Zillow and what they're doing here with the forum and some of the new things that are coming out and the technology. So again, thank you for joining me today, Grant.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So just to get a little insight here, I mean, obviously this is a conference you put on for agents. Tell me a little bit about, why does Zillow have the Premier Agent Forum?
Right, yeah, so this is our fourth year holding this event. I've been lucky enough to come to all of them, and it's great to see how this event has evolved into such an important and great event for our Premier Agent community here. This event is a great place where we talk about a lot of trends that are happening that are facing consumers, so buyers and sellers out there. And I'm actually holding this 200-page book that just came out a couple weeks ago.
It's a beast of a book.
It
made my suitcase heavy.
Exactly.
Got 3 of them coming home. So if you guys have more questions about those, we'll have copies of it in our office. So happy to share them.
Definitely. And it's on Zillow.com/report, and it's a beautiful site. But basically a 200-page book where we interviewed thousands and thousands of buyers, sellers, renters, and homeowners to get a sense for just how they approach and think about everything related to home and the journey and the process and whatnot. So a lot of what came out of that report is how we talk about what we talk about here, and helps inform our product decisions in terms of both for buyers and sellers and for what we offer real estate agents here at the event.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know I've been here. One of the reasons that I've been coming to this conference. Pretty much anytime Zillow has a conference, I attend because we get so many of our customers we're connected with, and some of our best customers who have now become customers over the years came to us because of Zillow. Right. So for me, anything you guys do is important. But how does that segue in? Obviously, I know that this consumer report drives a lot of decisions.
Yeah.
What are some of the insights that have driven some of the changes you've rolled out, and what are some of the things you guys have decided to do and roll out that's going to help the consumer out there in their real estate needs?
Yeah, definitely. So I think there's 2 sides to what's happening that impact both consumers, so buyers and sellers, and real estate agents. The first one is there's this idea that technology and humans together are absolutely what is happening in real estate right now. Technology is not replacing the human element of real estate at all, which is a really important note to make, where our CEO, Spencer Rascoff, gave a great speech yesterday and kind of used this Star Wars metaphor, basically of the idea of a Jedi. So a Jedi with a lightsaber. The lightsaber is the technology, so that's Zillow, that's all the other tools at the disposal of consumers. But a lightsaber is nothing without the Jedi using the lightsaber, and the human or the agent is that Jedi with their lightsaber.
So essentially, what I'm hearing, and I've heard Spencer say this out of his own words too, but from the Zillow perspective, the agent, you guys feel, is still going to be a very important part of the transaction.
100%. Since real estate, unlike some other industries where technology is encroaching on the human element, is a complicated, it's an expensive, and it's an infrequent purchase and decision that's being made. So having that human element and that guidepost to really help make these really tough decisions are helpful. And the other piece that I'll complement this with is we're seeing, and through all these other industries that are happening, the idea of this age of experience that we're entering into. So what the age of experience is the idea that consumers actually, by and large, across a lot of industries, are willing to sacrifice cost for convenience. And what I mean by that, a lot of people are willing to spend more to have a really amazing experience in whatever they're doing.
Wow. I know, one of the things, all huge publicity around Zillow, with your instant offers platform.
Right.
And I think correct me if I'm wrong, but I've been told that one of the insights was that you found that the consumer space is saying they do want the real experience. They don't want to just, the convenience was not what they were mostly opting for. Is that what's coming out of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the report here, we have personas. So we have the buyer persona, who we call Beth internally at Zillow, and the seller, who we call Susan. We like our alliterations. But what we're seeing about Susan, the seller, is that she is so stressed. There's so much uncertainty in the selling process. So being able to have different options that all involve a professional, that all involve a real estate agent, is something that's been really beneficial to Susan, and really starting to test and see how that helps make her experience a little less stressful.
So, I mean, maybe that kind of segues into one of the things I wanted to ask you about, but the My Agent rollout, that obviously huge rollout, and I'll let you kind of touch on that. But what is, so it's a new feature that Zillow is rolling out, and how do we come to that, and how does Zillow feel that that's gonna help the consumer out there?
Yeah.
So I'll let you take that one.
Absolutely. So Ian touched on this My Agent. So we announced a couple new features yesterday, and one of them is this My Agent. So essentially what happens right now is a consumer, so a buyer is working with an agent, and a lot of times what's happening is that we know that, I'm forgetting the stat right off the top of my head, but within the month after a buyer starts working with an agent, that buyer is coming back to Zillow within 30 days, somewhere in the 25 times, if not more, range. So they really want to engage with Zillow.
So in normal agent land, right, typically, and I have a lot of agents who watch this show regularly, the consumer may contact the agent through Zillow, right?
Right.
Agent then puts them on like an IDX feed search, sends them emails, or sometimes spams them with listings they don't even want to see, and then so the consumer has change in behavior, comes right back to Zillow and just starts searching on Zillow again. So then how does that segue into what My Agent's going to do?
Exactly. So what's happening, what you touched on is exactly right, where agents are putting their consumers on an IDX feed or directing them away from Zillow. And the reason that's happening is because when these buyers come back to Zillow after they're starting to work with an agent, they're still seeing a couple different agents on a property details page that they're looking at, which isn't fair to the agent at the end of the day, who they've already cemented this relationship. So where we're going with this is you actually, through Zillow, will be able to, as an agent, invite a consumer to connect and form a relationship with you.
Perfect.
And once the consumer accepts on the other side, this isn't like a binding agreement or written contract or anything, but what happens then is that every time that buyer comes back to Zillow, following that, they will only see you, Ian, as the buyer agent, which is awesome for you.
Yeah, and and I think in some ways better for the consumer as well, because we have that happen a lot because we are big advertisers with Zillow. We get a lot of other agents, clients contacting us on Zillow on other properties, and we as agents are big on respecting the agent's relationship. So we have that conversation. I tell the client, you should really be calling your own agent about this property. We're here to help. If you decide to change agents, we would love your business, but we want to respect that relationship. So in this scenario, for someone who has a committed relationship via that My Agent, now they can work, if they like the Zillow platform, they can connect and talk to their agent through Zillow, which is a really cool feature.
Exactly, and kind of if you dig a level deeper in this, what this looks like, so not only are you seeing just one buyer's agent, the one that you're working with and in this relationship with through Zillow, but we're also going to be working with these agents to co-brand emails, so consumers are going to get one consistent experience. Again, going back to the whole experience, so they're not getting Zillow plus IDX plus MLS plus broker, it's a stressful experience for all these buyers.
And a sharing of information.
Yes, exactly.
So because the consumer didn't then go get info from Zillow, and then when they talk to their agent, they now have to fill their agent in. Zillow sent me this email.
Exactly.
What do you think? If we're in connection, we know the info they're getting from Zillow is coming to us as well, so we can connect with the consumer. So to me, that's an exciting feature as well.
And that's an important point you make, since a core element of this age of experience that we talked about is the idea that you as the professional are able to foresee where are the roadblocks up ahead before the buyer may even know that they're coming. So that allows you, by knowing what's going on and knowing what they're seeing, to be able to predict and say, I bet you they may have a question about this, and you can be proactive about that rather than scrambling and being reactive.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to make this show too long, but while I have Grant here, there was another. I just want to run through the real exciting features. The one other thing that really excites me is these 3D tours.
Yeah.
So, And I did hear, I think it was Greg Schwartz was with the chief business officer, when he was talking about it, he said Zillow's mission is they'd like to have these 3D tours on every home in America. So tell them a little about the 3D tours, and I thought it's going to be a cool feature.
I think it's going to be really cool, so we're really excited about this. So we've actually had a team at Zillow for over 2 years who have been building a app and a technology platform from scratch. So the idea will be that you can actually download an app and through the Zillow kind of platform be able to, through your iPhone, through your phone, no additional like attachments or technology or tools or anything, be able to add a listing, go through and kind of do a 360 pan of a room, and then basically it saves that aspect of the room, and then there's another button, and then you basically draw this arrow to connect from the kitchen to the living room, for example, and then you start again and do the kitchen. So it'll basically be like Google Street View essentially for inside of a home and a 3D ability.
Well, and what's exciting to me, and I think our consumers would agree, we all get those wide angle pictures, and then we show up to the house and we're like, oh yeah, that front room is huge, and we show up and we're like, this isn't what it looked like in the picture. So this 3D experience will allow someone to sort of walk through the home, so maybe they have an idea of flow and size and all that perspective before they connect, because it's time consuming for both the consumer and the agent. If they like a home, we're going to go make the effort, but so that's an exciting feature to me.
Yeah, exactly. It'll make it so there's some magic you can do, right, with photography. So this should make it really clear for buyers who are looking, and we still know that this is a really important feature for them, but at the end of the day, like for the houses that they're getting serious about, like in person and live is still very important, but this helps narrow down the choices in a quicker time period, since again, in this age of experience, time is absolutely critical for people.
Awesome. Thank you, Grant. I really appreciate you coming on the show today. Grant Gurewitz, he's the marketing manager for Zillow. Amazing conversation, amazing, exciting products from Zillow. Thank you guys for tuning in for Friday Facts, and we'll look forward to talking to you again next week. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.
All right.